Our next story is from Africa, from Senegal in the west. Senegal is a country that is transforming. In March, they chose Africa's youngest elected president, Bassirou Diomaye Faye. The 44-year-old won Senegal's presidential election. Faye then brought in his mentor as the prime minister, which is this man, Ousmane Sonko. Both Faye and Sonko won by campaigning for change. And that change may worry France, Senegal's old colonial overlord. Yesterday, Senegal's Prime Minister Sonko gave a fiery speech, a speech that took shots at France.
We're past the time when Africans could be manipulated by any people under any regime. And this feeling, which is evident today, has always been present from independence to the present day.
Sonko seems to have had enough of France and their quote-unquote undue benefits. He took aim at French military bases in particular. Listen to what he said, I'm quoting. More than 60 years after our independence, we must question the reasons why the French army, for example, still benefits from several military bases in our country and the impact of this presence on our national sovereignty and our strategic autonomy. Paris must be nervous. They've seen this scenario play out before in Senegal's neighborhood. The country is located in West Africa, right next to the coup-hit nations of the Sahel, Mali, Burkina Faso and Niger. Like Senegal, they were all former French colonies. Like Senegal, they also hosted French bases and troops. But then the coups took place and the juntas in Mali, Niger and Burkina Faso ousted the French. Now it seems this anti-France sentiment has spread to democratic Senegal as well. That could mean that a quick departure is imminent for the 350 to 400 French soldiers in Senegal because Sonko's word carries weight. Even if he's not president, Sonko is a powerful figure. He's a firebrand politician with a mass following in Senegal and beyond. And he is President Faye's mentor. That's why Sonko's outlook may shape Senegal's foreign policy. And his outlook is clearly anti-imperial. Take their currency, for example. The country uses the CFA franc. It's a symbol of French colonialization. It is shared among 7 former colonies. The CFA franc is pegged to the euro, meaning it is at risk from the economic shocks that take place in Europe. Now, Sonko wants to diversify this risk.
Almost no African country can afford to go into debt in local currency. And this has to stop because we suffer the consequences. And what we also want is a flexible currency, pegged to at least 2 currencies, to help cushion exogenous shocks and support our export competitiveness.
So no French bases and a reduction in French influence on the currency. You can see why France may not like Sonko, at least the current president of France, Emmanuel Macron. Macron has ambitions of becoming a global statesman. That is hard to do when countries already under your influence try to push you away. So Macron and Sonko do not see eye to eye, but that does not necessarily mean the end of the Senegal-French relationship. Because when Sonko spoke yesterday, he was accompanied by a different French leader, Jean-Luc Mélenchon.
This is a historic moment because Senegal, through the actions of its people, has opened up a particular path, that of a citizens' revolution, ending in electoral victory after a popular resistance paid for with death and martyrdom.
Mélenchon contested against Macron in the last French presidential election. He could stand again in 2027, so he may be trying to mend ties and keep Senegal in the French ambit. But by the looks of it, he might be too late. It seems Senegal is preparing to sever ties with France for good.